Well, hello again and welcome to the VK6CS Fun with Amateur Radio channel. I'm going to fight my way around the tripod as usual, so don't be surprised if there's a bump or two. Okay. Right, now here is the Pegbox I've been using for doing all the prototyping, and it has served me well, as you can imagine. It really was not a lot of fun. You may recall I had the fans offset, one there and one there. This is the valve base, of course, goes in the top. I've tried blowing it from the end, I've tried blowing it from the bottom. So this $5 Pegbox, might have been $6, from Kmart, served me very, very well for doing my prototype testing. Now the tube base, because I'm using the proper Russian one and not one that's been produced by a third party, is quite substantial. As you can see, this is really huge, this valve base, and I think I've said before that you could actually mount the tube horizontally in this without any bother and just have a box with a fan at the end blowing in. And you know, so you'd have a hole in the front of the machine, of the amplifier, sucking the air in, it just blow through here, through this box and out through the anode. Mount it horizontally, even though it's a heavy valve, that would hold it no problem whatsoever. Now I've put all new solder tags on here, I've taken all the old ones off, so I'll be mounting this into the, because I bought into the Pegbox that I'll be using for the PA enclosure. For the PA Airbox rather. Now I just thought I'd show you how far. Okay, so there's the Pegbox, and that's the valve base. As you can see, that sort of fits on there quite snugly. That's quite a nice fit from side to side. I didn't bother drilling the holes in this one because this is just the prototyping box. Now you'll be able to see how far into that Pegbox the valve base protrudes. Can you see that? That is quite a long way into the Pegbox. There's probably only about 20 mil probably between the bottom of the valve base there and the bottom of the actual Pegbox itself. And that's what it looks like. That's what it will look like inside. Okay. Now let's get that out of the way for a second, and if I tap this, sounds pretty tinny, you know, and I think that was probably adding to my noise, because you may recall I was a bit concerned about the noise it was making. I've got a sound level meter as well to just see how loud it would be. So that's what that sounds like. Now I have made the one I'll be using, so, and I've painted it black, so there we go. There's the identical Pegbox. I haven't fitted the valve base yet, so I've got some wires hanging out of it. You can see in there the cathode choke, that one there, the cathode choke, and decoupling capacitors in there. These are going to be wired to the valve base. These ones here, the brown one will go to the cathode filament connection, and the blue one will go to the filament connection, so I know which one is which. And in this bundle of wires here, same applies. You know, I've got the brown one there, which tells me which one is the cathode filament connection, or which is the cathode connection rather, because that goes to the bias board, the brown wire. The brown wire there goes to the bias board, and the two blue ones go to the heater supply. As you can see, I've got some soundproofing material around the fans. I've also got some soundproofing material inside the box. So I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's, see that soundproofing pads stuck there, and to the end, also around the fans, sound deadening material around the fans. That's the can you see that? That's the input side of the box there. There's a BNC socket screwed on the chassis there, and you can see that there's those soundproofing pads are there as well. I only made a ricket of one hole, which wasn't bad. That one there. All the others came out absolutely fine. Every other hole in the box is in proper position. This one was in the proper position, but I was just using the electric drill just to quickly just buzz any burrs off. And on that hole it caught. And I thought, oh, that's a bit of a bugger. But the valve base will cover that, and on the underside, the washer on the underside and the nut will cover that, so you'll never know that's there. So I thought, okay, well, rather than re-drill another box, then that's going to be good enough for what I want. So there's the front of it. That's where the RF goes in, the RF drive, and put a couple of bolts in here. That was where the little plate was holding the handle on the Pegbox, and that's going to, so these brackets here are going to hold the Pegbox down to a flat surface. I'll probably put a bead of Celastic around there so that when I bolt it down it will be sealed. And you can see inside there, there's the connections, so there's the cathode filament choke there. That on the side here, sorry I was holding a torch between my teeth there, but there we go. So I turn that up like that. See that there? That is the ground connection. That's going to go, there'll be a lead going from that actually bolted onto the steel case. As I said before, these wires are going to be soldered onto the valve base. These will come out and they will go through a grommet into the bottom. So there's going to be a box under here. They'll go through a grommet into the box, and that's where the heaters and the cathode bias will be fed up through those wires there. And because this has got the sound deadening material on it, if I tap it, you can see the difference, or hear the difference. If I tap that, the difference between tapping that and what do we got? There we go. Tapping that. So I'm hoping that it will be nice and quiet when it's actually running. So that's the PA Airbox for the amplifier, almost complete. I've got to bolt the valve in there, and I'll run it up. I'll see how noisy it is, and I'll measure the airflow, and then I can draw a line under that and bolt that PA module, or PA Airbox module, into the amplifier case. And you know, once that's bolted in there, really the other stuff can be gotten on with. Like see, once this is bolted in the case, I can mount the screen with the small transformers on it and the tuning capacitors and the other stuff. It's just that I didn't want to do any of that and subject it to a lot of vibration if I had to cut a big hole like this in the bottom of the steel chassis. And so that's a little bit crinkly, that edge, because it's fairly thin, this stuff, but I won't worry about that. So with the valve base, will sit in there. I'll put a bead of Celastic around there. Once that's bolted down, that'll be fine. And on the inside, that'll look fine. As you can see, it looks nice and round. So once that's bolted in there, that'll squish that flat. And these are just the mounting brackets I made to hold the thing to the flat surface. Yeah, that was a bit of a job actually, because the flat surface is only that wide from there to there, and this was 20 by 20 angle. So it's 20 that way. That way. From there to there is 20. It's only 15 from there to there. So I had to score it, drill a row of little holes all the way along there, and then file it to a straight line. Do that on both sides. So a fair bit of effort's gone into building it. But I reckon it'll be fine when it's all up and running. It will be worthwhile. So there we go. Well, I hope you found that interesting. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.